Greetings in the name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. This is Dr. David D. King, welcoming you to Kingdom Holistic Health Ministry Show. I am excited to be here with you guys on this morning. I hope y'all doing great. I want to say Happy New Year because this is our first show of 2025. And I got a dynamic duo, a power couple that's on with me today. Y'all know I love power couples because my wife and I are a power couple. The Fergusons that runs KPA is a power couple. And I got a holistic power couple that is coming to you guys today. Get your questions ready because I guarantee you they got the answers. And I'm excited to have Dr. J and Kathleen, his beautiful wife, with me on this morning. How y'all doing?
Good
Great.
morning.
Good morning.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, sir, and your beautiful wife. You know, we finally got her on the show. Oh my God.
Took a little coaxing, but we did it.
Yes, it's good to have you. We're excited to have you with us on today. I know you guys, I got some great stuff. So I'm going to be quiet and let y'all introduce yourself. And then Dr. J, introduce that beautiful woman on your side, please.
Hi, everyone. Happy New Year. Thanks for joining us. So glad to have you here. I'm Dr. J. Vandenhavel, and I'd like to introduce to you my gorgeous, amazing, intellectual, highly powerful spiritual wife, Kathleen Marie Vandenhavel. And I'll let her talk about some of her background, but we wanted to get her on this show for some time because I hope all of you can listen to her story and her message of how she got to here. So go ahead, Kathleen.
Thank you. Appreciate that introduction. As you know, my name is Kathleen Vandenhavel. I'm Dr. J's wife. I am also trained as a nurse. I've been in nursing for 38 years, and it was a journey. I educate people. That's one thing that's very important to me. I'm also certified as a natural health professional, which is just being trained in Eastern modalities, similar to what Dr. J does, but I'm not a doctor. And I'd like to thank you all for being here and letting me be here and take the opportunity to help you all. My heart is to help people in any way that I can. And we'll leave it at that for now. So thank you for listening.
So how long you been in nursing?
Well, about 38 years.
Okay, and so the audience probably would like to hear your perspective because we've been talking on this show quite extensively about natural health and having Christ in our life. And it'd be nice if we could have Kathy maybe just quickly touch upon some experiences she's had as a nurse and what it's like to be in like those environments, especially through the last couple of years. Had to be a little scary, right?
Yes, COVID was definitely very scary. I prayed a lot, more than I normally did during that time. I worked in the hospital during that time, and it was very hard. Like I said, I prayed a lot. But, not to go off on that because thank God that's over. However, what I like to focus on is bringing in, Christ and helping us heal. And how do we do that? Well, people are on medications for various things, maybe blood pressure or cholesterol, and the other various medications. And, a lot of times doctors will tell you that you cannot get off those medications, and that is not entirely true. I have worked with and educated and helped a lot of people get off medications that the doctors told them they could not. How? Well, they did the work. What does that mean? That means that I gave them information. They did what I told them to do, which was exercise, watch their diet, got into specifics about their diet, how to have a relationship with God and pray and meditate to help with your spiritual, because you're not just a physical body, you're a mind, you're a body, you're a soul, you're a spirit. And all of those need to be addressed. And, one may be out of a little balance than another, meaning, your health with what you're eating, or toxins and that type of thing that you need to cleanse out. Jay and I talk about it a lot that, back in Jesus' day, they didn't have the chemicals and the pollution and the problems we had. They had clean fish, they had clean vegetables, and for the most part, and water. And they were much healthier, and their body's ability to detox things was a lot easier. We are bombarded with numerous chemicals every day. And not to go too off onto the cellular part of it, I want to keep it very simple. But your cells every day exchange nutrient, oxygen, and nutrition on a cellular level. And those cells are very pliable and bendable. But as we age, and if the wrong diet is in place, those cells get brittle and hard. And that can also cause what they call type 2 diabetes. I hope I can say that in people. And I've seen people reverse type 2 with their diet and cleansing. It's possible. So, again, I have a love for people. I want people to be healthy, because if your health is your wealth. If you're not healthy, it doesn't matter how much money you have. And there are simple things that can be done on a regular basis to correct things. You just have to put in the effort. I feel that I'm here to help guide you in any way that I can. So is Dr. J. Not to go off on a tangent, but I'll give you an example of, say, what can cause problems within the cell. A lot of people don't realize that there's seed oils in everything, salad dressings, foods that are processed. And you go into the store and you're frying up whatever you're frying up. And who doesn't like to fry up some okra or some fish or something and eat it, right? Well, it's the quality of the oil. Canola oil, vegetable oil, rapeseed oil, all of those are either genetically modified or they're just really bad oils. What makes them bad? Well, they're inflammatory. They inflame your cells. And when you have inflammation, it affects every system in your body. One person may get high blood pressure, one person may have blood sugar issues. It just depends on your body and your genetics. Great to take them out. You want good omegas like fish oils, coconut oils, olive oil. Again, back in Jesus' day, they had extra virgin olive oil, and that's what they used. And they didn't have the issues that we have today. They had obviously other issues, but not to the degree that we have. There is a lot of education that needs to be had in nutrition. And if there's any nutritionists out there, I do not mean to step on any toes. I love nutritionists. I worked with them in the hospital. However, there is some discrepancies, and I like to get down to educating on an everyday level of food and what can you do different. I'm not going to sit here and preach to you and tell you you're doing XYZ wrong. I want to tell you what you can do right, because it's stressful out there. You go into a grocery store and you don't know what to do. You see all this stuff, and then you hear that, oh, it's okay to use this, this, and this, and not everything that you read is true. And that's the other thing that Jay and I talk about is that, there's a lot of misinformation, and you can even say right down lying about nutrition, because those companies are making a buck. They don't care about your health. And the pharmaceutical companies are there to catch you when you fall, to put you on a drug. I've seen it. It's a process. Now, I'll say this. If you get run over by a Mack truck or need surgery, it's great to have the medicine we have and the drugs that we have. We need that. But when it comes to day in, day out healthcare, it's not healthcare. It is definitely sick care. And I just want to see people, healthy. And if I can do that with all my experience being a nurse and also as a natural health professional, that's what God put me on this earth to do. That's what I'll do.
How's that?
That's what I'm talking about right there, because, this is a new year, and, everybody making New Year revolutions, and everybody wants to be healthy, especially those of us who want to do the will of God. And so we got to learn to train our bodies on what to put in there so we can be healthy, because God doesn't get glory if we mismanage our temple.
Yes.
And so, and this is why I'm so glad that you guys are here. to answer those questions, dealing with sales, so people can understand what it is that are affecting their body by what they putting in their bodies. And so, like when you was talking about, we love frying. I love frying my chicken. I love frying, So, but if I use the right stuff to fry the chicken, then it's okay to fry chicken. I heard a lady said the other day, first, if you boil your chicken before put it in and do the egg and the flour and all of that, and then fry it in olive oil, then it's more healthier than just taking the chicken, putting it in the flour, and then putting it in grease and frying it. So guess what I'm finna try? I'm gonna boil chicken first, and then I'm going to do that because of being healthy. So those that are watching, you guys can put your questions up. We'll put them on the screen. The doctor and the nurse will do their thing for us. So let me ask this question, Dr. J. Being that it is quote unquote cold and flu season, as they say, what should I put in my body to help me stay healthy?
Yeah, great question. And there's a lot of things that you can do. And I think that's part of, why we do these podcasts, is to understand that sometimes when we have things going on, illnesses and colds and flus and things like that, the natural reaction is to rush to the doctor. So I'm going to preface that question by saying a cold is not necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes it's your cells literally sneezing their guts out. So it's a cleanse of sorts. So now there's a whole new way of thinking about getting a common cold is not as bad as what we thought. However, we don't want them consistently, and we don't want to spread those to others that may be more vulnerable. So to answer your question, it's pretty simple. You can pick supplements, you can pick nutrients, but the bottom line is, first of all, and Kathy and I talked about this, the number one problem in America is lack of sleep. And it's affecting everyone. And one of the biggest culprits I will point to, and I don't have to have a study, I don't have to, do anything other than, I work in the trenches every day along with my wife, Kathy, and we talk to people all over the world every day. So there's a commonality, is a lot of 5G and Wi-Fi interference with our bodies, and it messes with the brain waves, and it makes it hard for us to sleep. And then there's a lot of blue light from our cell phones, our TVs, our laptops. We take them into the bedroom where they don't belong. We are exposed to a lot of blue lights, 5G, and it's disrupting our ability to sleep correctly. That's the first thing I would say. A lot of people would say, oh, vitamin C or zinc, or, no, I'll tell you, without, deep 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep, and we could talk about sleep for 2-3 hours and not bore you, is how important that is to your immune system. Second is, eating a lot of high vitamin C types of foods, resting, praying, all the simple things. It's a lifestyle change. It helps the immune system. Washing your hands every day. I'll let Kathy throw a few things in here because, as a nurse, she's definitely very, very more aseptic than I am. Go ahead. What would you recommend?
Well, everyone's different. Some people like taking a supplement. It makes them feel better. I personally, when I worked in the hospital, I took, N-acetylcysteine. I took vitamin D, C. I took anything that would help with my immune system and to help me stay calm, because stress is a huge factor with everybody. Everybody is stressed on some level. So something to help with stress so you can sleep well. I prayed a lot. I prayed as I'm walking down halls. I mean, I can tell you, I was in nonstop prayer when I was working during COVID. So, I think too, having support, and not pushing yourself too hard. I think we as Americans and women, men too, working, but we all push ourselves so hard. That stresses us out. You got to take time to breathe, pray, take a time out, even if you have to, because stress will kill you. Slowly, but it will kill you. And so you want to keep your immune system up by your thoughts, your prayers, your supplementation, getting sleep. It's a balance. And sometimes that's hard, and that's okay. But when you realize that maybe you're not getting enough sleep or getting enough rest, just stop and go, I'm going to give myself that. And like, David King says, your body is a temple. You cannot do the work of the Lord if you are dragging yourself around because you're tired or you don't feel well. And so why not give yourself the gift of health and give praise to God for giving you this temple that is highly intelligent. You give it the right things and do the right things, it will heal.
Right.
5G, side note, that's another thing. That's a whole nother ballgame that's really tough because we need protection from that. And how do you get that? Well, I'll let Dr. J talk about that. But I'll do a little crash course on your cells vibrate at a frequency. What does that mean? Think about Christ. When Christ came here, he vibrated at a certain frequency. He was the highest level of frequency and love that you could get. You got Christ, way up here with his vibrational energy. He healed people. He was very vibrationally high, if that makes sense. Biologically, your cells do too. They vibrate at a certain frequency. You can see them under a microscope. It's beautiful. But as we age, again, things happen. So those frequencies from the 5G do affect your body, your cells. And it's a very low vibrational frequency, which can make you feel, I had a lady who, she had ADD so bad she was on medication. And she bought an EMF protector. She actually wore it on her. She was able to get off all of her medication. Interesting case. And I went, wow. She forgot her what I call her little bubble. She went off and she was a mess because she was so sensitive to the frequency. She couldn't sleep. She couldn't focus. So, there's a lot of things to consider, and not to overwhelm you. I apologize if I am. But I want you to just be aware, open your mind to understanding what's going on with your body so you can try to get help to fix it. And there are ways to do that.
Yeah, so there's a lot going on. But bottom line is, we started a little bit by the sleep disruption thing. That's a big one. It really is. And the weight gain and the metabolic problems and the diabetes, there's a lot connected to sleep disturbance. I think we should dedicate a whole show to that. That being said, we could talk for an hour on how to try to protect yourselves. And that's why we're here. If you are prone to colds and flus, infections, you have maybe a lower immune system than most, and you're challenged, that's all the more reason to reach out and contact us through, the Kingdom Ministries, because we can give you discounts to our services. Kathy and I combined have 60 years of medical knowledge, both working in hospital and out of hospital, both working integrative, allopathic, and holistic medicines. So, thank you for calling us a power couple. I don't consider us that. I just consider us blessed to be put together in the eyes of God so that we can do service like this. And so those of you that are out there that you feel challenged, it's not a simple 5-minute, answer to a question. But I will say, I wish everybody would just take 5 minutes of every hour to close your eyes and pray to God and be grateful for what you do have, not for what you don't have. And I think if you did that every 5 minutes of every single hour of every single day, your whole immune system would come up probably 50-80%. Studies have shown that with meditation and prayer, you can literally boost your immune system. You can double it just with a couple minutes of prayer. So, how powerful is that? So, let's keep God in the middle as we work forward, because I believe faith is the center of healing and health. Absolutely.
Okay, I got a question for you guys, and it's coming from my beautiful wife.
Oh, wow.
There it goes.
We were just talking about that yesterday. So the question is, are vegetables good to eat every day? Is it true some vegetables are toxic? If so, which ones? Go ahead.
I would like for you to address that.
Okay, all right. It's going to be tough, because, boy, I can never answer a question, really, really quickly. So here's the point. All vegetables contain something called lectins, Lectin. Lectins, you can look that up. What are they? They're poison. Isn't that interesting? Every single vegetable you ever eat contains a poison. But how come we're not harmed by it? Well, for two reasons. We got used to it, just like the animals figure out how to do it. There's actually studies that go all the way back, showing how animals will eat river bottom clay, volcanic ash, charcoal from a fire, which helps absorb toxins. So humans along the way have developed the ability for two things. Their microbiome, the bacteria in your guts, have learned to deal with these toxins, but we must eat what's called polyphenols. Polyphenols exist in our fruits predominantly, like berries. Small berries are the best source. You think about Wisconsin, cranberries are superfood. So are currants. So are raspberries, blackberries, blueberries. All of these are what I call superfood polyphenols. If you eat those, they counter any effect that comes from a vegetable. So it's not easy to answer that question. Then there's the whole thing called the nightshade application, which is, eggplant and tomatoes and certain potatoes that some people are allergic to. Bottom line is your body knows how to deal with that. So I'm not concerned about any toxicity from a vegetable. I'm more concerned about the toxicity from plastics or PFAs or what's coming at you from 5G or what's coming at you from red dye number 3, which they just finally banned after 35 years of screaming at the top of my lungs. It goes on and on and on. We got a long way to go before our food supply is going to be safe. And so eating vegetables is not something we should be concerned about. So not to be, derogatory towards that. I'm just trying to paint an example of sometimes we read information and we think, maybe I should quit eating vegetables. And there are people that are now getting into what's called the carnivore diet, where all they eat is meat, right? It's just meat and eggs and nothing but protein. Yeah, your guts will feel good for a while, but I don't want to be around when you get colon cancer or the fact that your cardiovascular disease is going to amplify. But hey, as long as you're skinny, I guess that's what you want to do. So, I wouldn't subscribe to that, but to each his own. So I hope that kind of covers it.
Yeah. Now,
information. I apologize.
You was talking about the 5G, right?
Yeah.
And my wife. So she done went and got these. I don't even know what they call, but she put it on the back of my phone. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, different names, right?
Yeah, but we got them on the back of our phone, the back of the TVs. So she's protecting me, she's my Wonder Woman. So she's protecting me from those things. But and every time we have a show, I done something else different now, So I don't eat fruit. I don't eat fruits with my meal anymore. I either eat fruit or I eat a meal. So I mean, because if we're actually wants to EMFS is what she is called.
Stand for electromagnetic frequencies, right?
Yeah.
And just quickly for those that want to crash course in EMFs, energy comes at us all the time. Right, there's ultraviolet rays that come from the sun, and there's different UV waves. But how they come at you is kind of almost like a rolling hill, right? If you look at nature, everything's kind of rolling and circle-ish, and there aren't sharp, jagged edges to frequencies in nature. They're very melodic. They kind of roll along. And we call that feng shui. But anyway, when we start using artificial frequencies, they're very jagged. And so when those hit our bodies don't know what to do that. You're knocking electrons out of place, and suddenly your chemistry is disrupted. Now your metabolism is disrupted, and now your organs are disrupted. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes a long process. So your body's not used to that. We call it radiation. So I wish they'd stop calling it electromagnetic frequencies and start calling it electromagnetic radiation. Because it's literally you're being radiated by your cell phone, buy your laptop, buy all the Wi-Fi, right? So what you're doing, David, and your beautiful wife has done for you is offer a little bit of protection.
Mm-hmm.
So these are called EMF modulators is what the proper term for them is, because they're not blockers. You can't block EMF. It's going to go through stuff, but you can modulate it. You can take it, instead of being jagged, you can take that wave, invisible wave, and actually make it go more like a rolling hill, which your body can deal with, and it won't disrupt you and start causing all kinds of genetic anomalies. That's what the problem is. So have we studied this? No, it has not been studied since 1985. So we've gone through all these different G's without any studies. Sound familiar? Hey, let's put this junk RNA into some kind of experimental medication and see what happens to people. And look what happened. Now they're trying to block that forever. Oops, that was a mistake. A bunch of people made money doing it. You got the same problem with electromagnetic frequencies. And they're going to go to 6G and 7G without your permission, without a study. And we wonder why the cancer rates are skyrocketing. So those of you that are listening, and what David and his wife are talking about is just simple things called diodes or EMF shields. And I'm not here to plug anything, but I will put a plug in for a company called Hedron, Hedron. They are in Rhinelander, Wisconsin, and they make the best EMF shields that I've seen worldwide. And that's the company I recommend. You can tell them Dr. J sent you, but my point is I'm not here to promote anything. I just want people to get protected. What are the costs with that? You can get something for your phone very inexpensively, which is great because we know holding that phone next to your head will cause brain cancer. It's not suspected, it is now known. So put your speaker right, on what do you call that?
Airplane mode? I don't know.
No, when you're talking out loud.
Oh, on speakerphone.
Speakerphone. Yeah. Instead of holding it to your head, just tell them you're on speakerphone, so that they know other people are listening. Don't hold that right next to your head. That's a mistake. Same with the Wi-Fi on at night. Turn it off when you go to bed. Why is it on at 3 a.m? You're going to get up and look at your computer? You're supposed to be sleeping. Turn that off. Don't let that ping all night long. What happens with EMFs is this is what they're doing all day long, 24/7, 365, every millisecond. Ping, 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 ping. Where's my phone? 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 It never stops because it wants to talk to each other. Well, that's going right through your brain. And you wonder why you can't sleep. Anyway, thanks for listening. But you can do that anywhere from $20 to, get really expensive. We have something here called an egg. We put it on the property. It does 40 acres.
Oh, wow.
40-acre bubble around our house. It cost me $700, and I'm glad I did it because we're down here in Florida, and even our neighbors are like, how come you got all that wildlife in your backyard? It just seems like all the deer and the raccoons and the critters and the snakes, they're all in your backyard. I know why. It's not being bombed by 5G. They feel that. God's creatures feel it. How come we don't? Hey, sorry about that.
No, that was great because it's true.
I get very passionate about this because nobody's speaking about it.
Right. And unfortunately, we have so much coming at us. And I'd like to add to that by saying that, also too, if you look at microwaves, and people are probably not going to be happy with me saying this, and I'm sorry. I don't have a microwave. Once I learned about microwaves and the radiation, I unplugged it. And it's disturbing to me that they make microwaves and they put them above your stove, because what are you doing usually 2 to 3 times a day? You're cooking and you're standing right in front of that microwave and you're radiating your face and your brain. Even though it's not on, it still shoots out the frequencies. Now, when it's on, it can go many, many feet. They've done studies on that. And I'm not saying don't use one, but I'm saying don't use one if you can help it, because it's not good if you think about it, or unplug it as you're standing there cooking, because you don't want that extra radiation around your face, your head, and your brain.
Yeah.
And,
it's easy to unplug it, right?
Right.
How hard is it to defrost your food by taking it out the day before?
Right.
How hard is it to, use your stove? But people rely upon those. But here, I'll put this out. I think this will get you to understand why we're not, pro microwave. Let's say you had a pint of blood that you were holding in your home for yourself in case you ever needed it. Let's say, you had a wound and you needed your own pint of blood. And I had to warm that blood up before I put it back in your body, right? You cannot put cold blood into a warm body. You'll cause shock. So we need to warm that up, right, to 98.6. So I'm going to put it in the microwave for a few seconds and warm it up. Would you allow me to put that pint of your own blood back in your body, yes or no? What do you think, David?
No.
Why do you feel that way?
Overcooked.
Well, a nurse did that in Chicago back in 1969 in a blood warming unit. They did not have warm blood. They had somebody in the ER that needed blood. So she took a pint of blood, put it in a microwave for a couple seconds. They put it in the patient. The patient coagulated and died. That's why in every hospital in the United States of America, you cannot have a microwave within 300 feet of a blood warming unit.
Right.
Wow.
Yet you're putting your corn and potatoes in there?
Mm-hmm.
So, we take a lot of technology on blind faith, don't we? It must be good for us. Oh, convenience. But we never stop to ask, is this a natural process?
There's a price to pay.
Microwaves are not natural.
Right.
They will literally cook you. So does that mean microwaves are causing cancer, killing people? No, that's not what Kathy and I are saying. We always tend to look at everything in our life as much as we can, and technology is great to a point, but not to the point that it may sacrifice, what God has given us, and that's the ability to be well. So anything that's questionable, I want to remove. That doesn't mean you have to, but these are the kinds of things that we want to share with you on this show. We want to share with you in consultation about how things are affecting your health, right? So that you can make little changes. Like David just said, hey, I've learned to eat fruit alone. That does help your digestion. So these are all little things. That's why we're here today. Thanks for listening. Hopefully we give you little nuggets that may change the outcome of what happens to you, because you heard it here first.
Now, I personally have to schedule my AO scan because I haven't had one in a while. And so I know I need to. We already got some people that call for their AO scan. Let's talk, since we're talking frequencies and radiation and all of that, let's talk about the AO scan and how important the AO scan really is, especially us going into a time where we can't trust the food that we put in our body, right? We can't trust some of the diagnosis because we know we've been diagnosed wrong because they went off of how we was feeling at the time. So, I think that, and I give an example. My wife had got her AO scan done a little while ago, and it's not bread that her body was acting up on; it was peaches. Okay, so now she planted this beautiful peach tree in the backyard, and all the peaches is mine now. So, but she would never knew if she didn't take the scan. She would have never knew it was the peaches. Mm-hmm. And sometimes, doing the AO scan, you'll find out what food your body really allergic to, instead of guessing. Mm-hmm. So would you like to touch on the AO scan for me, please?
Yeah, that's one of the things that it can do is basically help find out what foods are antagonistic. In other words, food can be medicine or food can be poison, right? And the Bible tells us that your fruit shall be your food and your fruit shall be your medicine. But when man got a hold of it, we need to add something. It can also be your poison. So sometimes what the AO scan will do is look at certain foods that are either kind of pulling your energy down or causing your body to overreact. So, Kathy and I have been in medicine for a long time, and, we tend to kind of back away from all the diagnosis and prognosis stuff, right? We're not here to diagnose you. We look at health as a teeter-totter, and you're either too much or not enough. And it doesn't matter what the name of your disease is, you're still saying the same thing, Whether you're hypothyroid or hyperthyroid, you're hypo, you're hyper. You're either up or down. And it's hypertension, hypotension. Isn't that interesting? That so many diseases are too much or not enough. And we see that with many, many different things. So instead of thinking about names and Greek and Latin, why don't we just talk about balance? Homeostasis of balance. So some foods will give us energy and strength, and other foods will pull us down. Other foods will antagonize us and cause an inflammation. And that's what David's talking about. Sometimes foods show up and you're like, I'll see something on a scan. I might say, you know, showing up that blueberries are kind of antagonistic to you. And then the person will say, well, I eat blueberries every day. I've been doing it for 25 years. And I'm like, well, maybe you need a break. There are more than one food on planet Earth, right? So, you know, sometimes it's variety. Anyway, it doesn't mean it's always deadly or hurtful, but that can give us good information. The other thing the scan is always doing, it's always looking at where you've been, where you are, and where you're going. And so often when we do these scans and we're in consultation, because both of us are talking to you, both of us, you could talk to a doctor, you could talk to a nurse. How's that for a phone call? You get two people helping you from two different directions, right? We can help you in many, many different applications. But it's to find out, where are those imbalances? Where are they coming from? Why are they happening? What did happen? What is going on? What's about to happen? I'll give you an example. I had one the other day. I looked at it and I said to the person, hey, you know, this is something very serious going on with your bile duct, which is part of your gallbladder, liver, pancreas. And, you know, you need to do something here. Most likely it's stones, right? Well, they ignored me. And guess where they ended up? In the ER. And then finally, you know, I talked to them later and it's all, I should have listened to you. Well, I told you what was about to happen. You know, it's like go up to Noah and say, no, it's going to rain. You know, I hope you're ready. And then you don't do anything. You wonder why you drowned it. You know, so you get the idea. The scan is very good at giving us information. When you have information, then we can look at that and say, here's some things you can adjust. Maybe you can fix this with a lifestyle change. Maybe you can fix this with dietary change. Or you're going to need supplements because you're too far behind the 8 ball here. Whatever. We can help you with that. We may point you in a direction of, you need massage, you need a chiropractor. You know, that way, if we're doing that, we see reasons for it, which means when you go there and spend the money, you're going to get the results you're looking for. So we're kind of like a hub of a wheel. Sometimes we may be telling you to go this way, that way, that way, but we're here to just make sure that whatever we do, we first do no harm and let your body come back to its own balance. That's the way God made you. So thanks for that public service announcement.
Yeah, and I'd like to add to that that it's also a very personalized program. I mean, there are so many overwhelming advertisements for supplements, right? Everybody's taking everything, but they get, what are the results? A lot of them don't get any results. Why? Because, well, could be many things. Could be the quality of the product, one, but two, your body needs something different than when somebody else does. So it's a customized program specifically for your needs. And that, I mean, do you go to your doctor and get that? I'm not discounting doctors. I'm just saying overall, for your overall health, when you go to your doctor for a physical, does your doctor give you that? No, they can't.
No, it's a protocol.
And so really it's our responsibility to keep ourselves healthy. And you can do that with knowledge. When you have the truth, there's a lot of misinformation out there. And
the AO scan cuts through that.
The AO scan definitely cuts through that. And you know, it takes a little bit of time too. Some people right away feel, you know, when they start the program, they immediately feel, you know, the effects in a positive manner. Other people may take a little longer. It depends on how long you've had the issues you've had and how long you have felt the way you have felt. You have to give yourself, your body, the grace. It's a temple. Give your body the grace it needs to get through it. And don't be hasty, because I know I was. I'm saying that I'm not talking to you. I'm talking out of experience. Like I want it now. I don't have time for this. You know, I want to feel better. And some things turned around faster than for me, and other things I had to really work at it. But overall, I was very blessed and thankful to have, you know, what I had in my life, which was good health, and then the knowledge to maintain it. And then also I had, you know, Dr. J as my personal, you know, what I call doctor through the years, to help me. And it's worth every penny of it. So I would encourage you, if you're on the fence, give us a call. You can ask questions. You can ask me questions. I can give you more information if you want. To me, as I'm talking, I want to know what questions do you have? Like, you're listening to us talk about all this stuff. Some of it may be familiar to you. Some of it may be very foreign. But what questions do you have? If you could throw us some questions out, I would appreciate it, because I love the questions and I like to educate and answer what's going on with you. What do you want? What do you want to ask?
Right.
Please.
And that's good, because the more we know, the better we can be. And I like to say it this way. We got to stop being the children of Israel in the wilderness, asking God to do everything, and then, go over into the promised land where you got to do it yourself, right? You can't ask God to heal your body and then you eat everything you ain't got no business eating.
Absolutely.
Saying that.
Yes. That's so true.
So true, David. Thank you for saying it. Say it again.
We do that. We eat everything, then we ask God to heal us. But God's saying to us, this is the year of accountability. You got to be accountable for what you eat.
Yes.
You got to be accountability on are you getting enough rest? You got to be accountable to trust me enough to stop worrying, because those mess with the cells too when you're worrying, or unforgiveness. So it's a lot of stuff we can do. Mm-hmm. Wait a minute. Somebody put that's Rosie. There you go.
Yeah, it's interesting, real quickly.
Oh, wonderful.
What's up?
Rosie, thank you for sharing that. I love hearing that. Sleep.
What does it say?
It's like, she says, I did the AO scan. I wasn't sleeping, but now, thank God, I can sleep and my joints are not in pain.
Wow. Awesome.
Like, hello, that's
the idea.
Beautiful. That's the
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one comment I wanted to make when you were talking, David, I think is very important. When the Bible says that, God gave us dominion over the animals.
Yes.
Remember, right? I don't think he included messenger RNA being injected into pork.
Right.
Or in the bodies of
people, I think dominion means the care for,
right,
and the shepherdness of managing animals, for the consistency of man. It wasn't meant, to become a pharmacological, some kind of experimentation. And I just want to throw that out there, that animals need to be loved and cared for, because they do take care of us. It's a symbiotic relationship. We should not be abusing any animals in any way, shape, or form.
Or adulterating.
And then go ahead and eat it.
The food, like the chickens, how they.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole nother.
Yeah, or how you treat the animal before slaughter.
Right.
That's why we pray over our food. Never eat food you don't pray over. It's probably contaminated with yucky stuff.
Yes.
Hey,
go ahead.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to throw in here too. Again, one of the things that I saw through my career as a nurse was people just don't have the education and information that they want or need when it comes to diet, foods. And doctors have zero nutritional training in medical school. They will tell you that they have zero. And Hippocrates said, let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. That's the main thing. So I like to educate people on food. Okay. What does that mean? Oh, well, pasture raised, grass fed versus, commercial GMO fed, if possible. Get the cleanest form you can. And how do you look for that? What to look for, what oils to stay away from, and what oils to that are good for you. You have different oils like omega-3s, omega-6, and omega-9s. Mm-hmm. Omega-3s are the healthy ones, like you get from like fatty fish, or taking a supplement. And most people need to take a supplement. I'm not trying to push supplements by any means, because they're helpful, but sometimes you need that support while you're transitioning and learning. And again, I just want people to understand that there's a lot to learn, but it's easy to do if you take it. How does an elephant, or how do you eat elephant? It's one bite at a time, right? So it's just one little thing at a time. If we could just make a small impact and it just keeps rippling out, it will help the community. You know, diabetes is second behind cancer in America. And unfortunately, it's heartbreaking to watch people sick and dying to begin with. But when you know there are things that are preventable, it sets me on fire in ways that I can't. It's hard to talk about. It makes me mad. It makes me like,
Oh, because you're dealing with the mess after.
Because you know what you know, and that's why I'm big on educating about the diet. And and I've even said this to Jay. I'm like, the devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy. Think about that. Think about that throughout your day and your health and your body and just your relationships. What's the opposite of that? Christ didn't come to steal, kill, and destroy. My God, he came to love us and save us. And we need to save ourselves by getting educated, getting the information we need, and then taking charge of our health. Because just like you said, if you're walking around in God's temple, and we are God's temple, if you're continuing to put things in your body that are not right, well, guess what? You earn that disease, unfortunately. And I don't mean to be harsh, but that's the reality. So love yourself enough to give the gift of health. That's
right. And that's something that I'm glad you said that, because we got to eat the elephant one bite at a time and educate them. Because literally, since we've been doing the show, even before when I first called Dr. J when I was in Colorado, say, hey, we need to do this, is because you got so many people only going by what was told. And so it's not, it's not, the information is not out on how to rebuild my temple, knowing that you don't rebuild it. If you give it what it needs, it rebuilds itself. And that's just so basic that people don't even understand that. So this is why I love this show. I love both of y'all being on. I love Dr. Houston being on, because we can give them something to challenge them when they look at their body, they feel the aches, they do the things that's going on. Also, my wife got this, what is it called? Grounding mat.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So I'm sitting there some days and I'm on it, and I'm just sitting there barefooted on the grounding mat. Can't wait for the summer so I can walk outside and walk on the grass. Why? Because nobody ever told, go walk in grass barefooted. Right? They always used to tell the kids, put your shoes on.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Instead of saying, you know what, you're getting back grounded. Walk in the grass with your feet. So all of these simple things that helps us has been taken away from us, and for us to do these shows and give it right back to them and say, okay, now, did you know if walking in your grass? Did you know just sitting outside? Did you know? And a lot of us, we didn't know.
Right. That's great. I'm glad you brought that up, because I'm huge on grounding. Even when it's cold out for me, I know I can't walk. You can't walk in the snow up there, but I love walking out in the grass even when it's cold, because you feel that connection. And a lot of people, I don't know if they're you can't get to the beach, I guess, up in Wisconsin, but you can get to like a water with a shoreline. If you can get on the ground and walk on that water where the sand is at, that's very grounding too. Anytime you're with your feet in the grass or the sand is grounding, which is very healthy. There's a lot of information about grounding.
Mm-hmm. And that's something we, excuse me, that we trying to give back to, because they don't know simple stuff, that we can do. And for years when I was growing up, dandelions was the enemy for your grass, but didn't realize dandelion is good for everything.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Just like they tell you, eggs are bad for you, butter's bad for you. Wait a minute, time out. I think anything God made is good for you in moderation.
Right.
Yes.
It's what man makes that is always suspect.
So to add to that, people, I was a big cheese person, but unfortunately, pasteurized anything, cheese, milk, it kills all the enzymes in it. So when you eat it, your body's not breaking it down. It usually causes more inflammation in people than anything. And I know people don't want to hear that because I know people love their milk and cheese. I get it. But if you can get grass-fed, unpasteurized, cheese or milk, you're better off doing that because you're actually harming yourself by eating
Well,
things
it's
that
dead food,
it's
right?
just dead food that
Like
causes
I
a
always
lot
say,
of
live food
inflammation.
gives a live body, dead food gives a dead body. So if you're cooking everything, it's dead food. Make sure
Right.
you're eating some live food every day.
It's quality
Okay?
too. If you can get certain things quality wise,
So
if
what were those
possible.
comments, David? I wanted to go back. Amber had one, and I want to acknowledge those because they're really good.
Okay.
Amber had one on nutrition, and then there was one right after that.
Yeah.
All right, so Amber says it's difficult to get all the nutrition we need just by food alone. That's true, especially with depleted soil. So supplements can and do have their place. Right.
Yes,
That's so true. We were talking about that yesterday. You go back to the Bible days, they talked about people living to be 300, right? Why? Well, they had a lot more minerals and a lot more quality food than what we do today. Our food is heavily devoid of nutrients. Do you know one apple today, you'd have to have 1,000 apples to equal the nutritional composite of what they found in an apple from 1600 in a grave that was preserved. They took it out, they looked at the nutrition of that apple, and then they looked at an apple today, and it was 1/10 of what it was a couple hundred years ago. So what does that tell you? It tells you, what has changed in our environment, that even our foods are no longer nutrient dense. They're devoid of minerals and they're devoid of polyphenols and the things we've already discussed. So I love that comment, Amber. You are absolutely critical in getting people to understand supplements are not the only thing, but we take them every day and we will not stop because we know that we can't get everything. So we want to fill in the holes. And we were talking about this yesterday with vitamin B6. You guys are probably thinking, is that all you guys do is talk about health at home? Pretty much. But we were talking about vitamin B6 deficiency yesterday and how it just disrupts the entire body. And yet you see it in a lot of people with something called MTHFR, which is a whole nother discussion. But we find things like that in the scan, and we alert that to people and say, hey, did you know you have an enzyme problem or you have a genetic tendency to not methylate and what this is going to do to you? And people are like, huh, what? No, my doctor never told me that, because your doctors don't test for that. Why? There's no drug. Right. They don't test you for things there's not a medication for. And diet and nutritional deficiencies are running rampant in our society. So thank you, Amber. Thank you a lot for saying that. You get it.
Yeah.
What was the other one you had? Because we're on time, I just want to make sure we acknowledge the people who are taking time to write.
All of those are Amber.
Oh, okay.
So I do want to say this. With all of this stuff going on, y'all going to make me go find some Omnis and buy their products.
That's not a bad thing, is it?
Not a bad thing at all.
You do need a scan, buddy.
I need one bad. But I think I need, I tell people all the time, I'll go to the Omnis because I know they're not using all them chemicals and be like, okay, let me buy my meat from you guys. Let me get my fruits from you guys because I know y'all is not using chemicals, so I can buy from you guys.
Right. Actually, that wouldn't be bad because it actually helps the community when you're supporting them, and you vote with your dollar, right?
Right.
So.
Yeah, I just posted last week that it's a known fact now that every single day the average American is exposed to over 90,000 different chemicals in a day. That's more chemicals than all of the chemistry labs on the entire planet Earth back in the 20s or 30s. So just you living today, just doing your daily thing today, you're exposed to over 90,000 different chemicals in the environment. So that wasn't there in Jesus's time.
Right.
So when people say, I eat a Jesus diet, I say, I do too. But I'll tell you what, Jesus wasn't dealing with 90,000 chemicals every day. And I don't mean that he couldn't overcome that. My point is things were different back then. So back to the supplement question. I often ask people, do you detoxify every day? And they're like, huh? You should be doing things to help yourself detoxify just as much as you're concerned about boosting your immunity. And what does that mean? It means moving your bowels, sweating, breathing correctly, right? Even menstruating correctly. All these things, urination, are all a mechanism for you to get rid of the stuff that man-made that gets into you. It shouldn't be there. It can cause all kinds of problems. Your body needs to be ramped up. One of the things that Kathy and I do every day is talk to you about prevention, how we want your body to be in optimum shape. It's detoxifying, the immune system's cranked up, you're a lean, mean fighting machine, you've got energy, you're sleeping well, like Rosie just told us. That's the goal. When you're doing that, God can use you as a warrior, okay? You are golden. You are ready to be used. The temple is clean. Don't disgrace the temple. We talk about that on this show all the time. Do not disgrace the temple that you have been given. It's important. It's your responsibility.
Do I have time to kind of interject on that?
Sure.
Do I have time? Okay.
3 minutes.
So I wanted to interject real quick because I don't know the range of age of your audience. However, I will say this: there's been a lot of studies done on women, who have babies and how toxic the babies are when they're born. And then unfortunately, some people get, a lot of vaccinations and the babies are even more toxic and it creates problems. But that's another story for another day. What I'm getting at is that we hand down chemicals in our body generation to generation on a cellular level. So say you have a lot of mercury fillings. You get pregnant, you have a child. That child is going to be full of heavy metals, but nobody tests for that. Nobody knows that. Nobody talks about that. With the toxicity that we have in this world, if you're trying to get pregnant and you can't, or if you're thinking about getting pregnant, you want to get healthy before you get pregnant, it is very important to cleanse and get your body, your temple that you're going to carry that baby in clean.
Amen.
So that child you don't pass on anything that was passed down, toxin wise to the baby. They need every fighting chance they get. And in today's world, they are overly bombarded with toxins and heavy metals and other things. So there are also neural tube defects that can be avoided with a methylation, a methyl B and Bs that help with preventing like Down syndrome and other neural tube defects, cleft palate. That can be avoided. It boils down to nutrition, and you want to give yourself the nutrition and your child so I just thought I'd throw that in there because I don't know if you have people.
And I'll go on as doctor and tell you that prescription prenatals are a joke.
Yeah.
They're useless.
They're synthetic.
They're going to come out the way they went in.
Well,
waste money. No, I don't care. Prosecute me, throw me in jail. I don't care. It's the truth. They're junk. They're synthetic crap. Okay. We care a lot about what we call cleaning the womb. Getting the womb prepared for that new life that you're going to bring into this world. So mom needs to be healthy. Dad needs to be healthy. You guys need to be healthy before we bring in the new generations. So let's make sure that the children, have a good head start because it's a toxic mess. Okay.
It is.
So we can help you with that.
And so let me say, because we almost there. So if you want to get to, have time with the doctor and the nurse. Oh, doctor, nurse. I told y'all, power couple, doctor, nurse. If you want to have time with them, you must become a member of Kingdom Ecclesia Ministry. It's a PMA ministry. Then it's $50 for the whole year. You get to see the doctors. They have a discount cost for seeing them for the AO scan. But if you don't want to be a member, you want to go see them, it can cost you anywhere from $150 to $500 to see these guys. But if you want the discount price, you have to go through Kingdom Ecclesia, and then we give you a code to use when you make that phone call. If you don't have the code, it ain't gonna work. So I just want you guys to know. But if you become a member, the number's on the screen. Also, as a member, not only do you get to see the holistic doctors, but you get help financially, how to budget, you get help counseling, dealing with loved ones, family, drugs, whatever. You also get helping looking for a job, all of these things. And if you have a business, you get discount for the business coach. So you get a lot of things being a member of Kingdom Ecclesia. So you can call us on the screen. I want to thank the doctor them and the nurse for coming on and being with us. We will be doing another show soon. But I want you guys to know we're doing this not because we have to. We're doing this because we want to. We're
Yes.
doing this because we love you guys. We're
Right.
doing this because we want to see you guys healthy and that God get glory out of your life. He doesn't get glory out of your life with a whole bunch of tubes in you, but he do get glory when you're healthy and you're out there doing what God has called you to do. So I'm going to turn it back over to them to give you their final words.
Well, I would just like to thank you for letting me be here. I appreciate the opportunity. I hope that something I said may have spoke to somebody. You know who you are. If it spoke to you, we're here for you. Just, invest in yourself, and we pray the best for you. And we're here if you need us. Thank you.
Yeah, say the same thing. Thank you so much for listening, and please reach out to us. It's just a phone call. It's not a big expense. We have to make a little money and keep the light on, but we do this. I am a doctor of humanitarian services. Maybe you never met one. My job is to make sure I'm helping humanity as much as I can. I'm not here for the guise of profit. I'm here to help humanity do better and to do the Lord's work. And that's what Kathy and I are all about. We really are here in the grace of God, and we want to help all of you, no matter who you are. Please reach out. Don't ever think you're alone. Don't ever think you can't get answers. Don't feel like you're being led around by a ring in your nose. Okay, you are a smart, intelligent, wonderful human being created in God's image, and you need to grasp that and run with that and reach your full potential. Let us help you get to your potential. Okay, that's what we're here for. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, everybody. We love you guys. Until next time on Kingdom Holistic Health Ministries, I am Dr. David King. Oh, and let me put it out there. I do it every show. I am not a medical or holistic doctor. I'm a doctor in theology. So I'm the spiritual doctor, not the physical doctor. So nobody can say, oh, he's perpetrating to be a doctor. No, I am a doctor in theology, not a doctor in medicine or holistic. But till next time, we want to thank you guys for tuning in. May God bless you and may God keep you.